Our episode begins with Ritz entering the kitchen and handing the cook that box, thanking him. The cook, in turn, thanks him and Red's offers to help without hesitation, feeding them delicious food consistently. Reds becomes a part of the family for months, training with the sword. He prefers to stay by Ars's side rather than engage in battles, and the lessons he receives greatly enhance his skills. He becomes one of the most educated individuals in Louvent House, accepted by all the household members and locals once they get to know him. Later we see Reds arriving alongside Ars, asking if the lesson is about to begin, to which Ars agrees and sits at the table. Reds then tells him about the continent of Samerforth, which originally comprised 7 kingdoms that united to form the Samerforth Empire. Kingdom Ansel lies across a strait from another continent, enabling it to engage in maritime trade with foreign nations. This consolidation of power was used to invade and occupy the remaining 6 kingdoms, with King Bedoras declaring himself emperor and renaming his kingdom the Samerforth Empire 203 years ago. Ars mentions learning this from his personal reading, and Reds informs him that the Samerforth Empire is currently in a dire state. Its current ruler is an 8-year-old child named Bedoras XII, with real power resting in the hands of his followers who are embroiled in factional competitions, undermining central authority. As the emperor's control diminishes, popular uprisings erupt everywhere, prompting provincial governors to rebel against royal rule and strengthen their local autonomy. Ars says these are just minor skirmishes for now, but even my father is sending me to take charge of them, and a bigger conflict will happen someday. I must prepare for that by using my strength to gather talented individuals by my side, preferably the best. Of course, we don't want it to escalate to war, but if a larger conflict occurs, where do you think it will start, Ritz? Ritz tells him it's likely to start in the Miesian province, as the current ruler, Amador Salamakia, is very old and in poor health. It's highly probable that he will pass away within the next few years, and this emperor has 2 sons. Usually, succession goes to the eldest son, but the younger one is more qualified. The ruler seems undecided about who should succeed him, and if he dies before making a decision, it will likely lead to war for sure. Even if he decides before his death, a war is probable anyway, as both brothers seem to desire the throne. Ars then asks which side his father will support if that happens. Ritz explains that his father believes the eldest son has the right to succession, but Riven Sama will ultimately decide which side to support. Ars understands because his father doesn't directly serve the ruler of Miesian. Instead, each province is divided into regions, and Lombridge falls under the Canary region, where Ars's father serves as its leader. Despite my skills in assessment being helpful in choosing who to support, if we write my address in a modern approach, it's likely to be Lombridge, Canary region, Miesian province, and Samerforth Empire. Ars then speaks to himself, saying his father is still alive, but he's just a child, and Reds is the only good companion he has found so far. Even if my father is on the losing side, Ritz interrupts Ars and says, "This is an opportunity for us. Excelling in a big conflict means helping the Lord rise, making us stronger to increase the likelihood of achieving this outcome." He tells Ars that he will protect him and stay with him always, and the best way to protect him is to find suitable people. Ars thanks him and suggests they go to search for more individuals. Then they leave the house and find their father training with the sword. Ars comments that his father spends an exceptionally long time training with the sword because he anticipates an imminent war. He then asks his father where he's going, and Ars tells him that he will be exploring for more promising recruits. His father expresses his hope of finding a talented magic user because magic will be a crucial asset in the upcoming battles, and he himself cannot use magic as proficiently, so he seeks someone skilled in it. He adds that the few who can use magic are not particularly gifted. Reds explains that magicians can tilt the balance of battle, so they will definitely need them. Ars then reflects on a time when he tried using magic at his father's request. He connected a bead filled with red liquid to a strange device and said a short phrase, but he didn't succeed much in using magic, so his father didn't ask him to attempt it again since then. Back to reality. His father, Reven Louvent, relies on you, Ars, he says, so you must do your best. The scene transitions to Rs riding a horse with Ritz and they converse. Ears smiling tells Ritz how much is expected of him, considering he's also talented in horseback riding and is a first-class knight. Ritz agrees, saying he loves riding horses, swimming, and battles, but let's talk about having a sorcerer by our side. It will make us more prepared for war because this sorcerer will greatly enhance our forces, all for the future of our country. Ars then speaks to himself, acknowledging that he must find the best candidate possible. The scene shifts now to the city of Castle Canary, that large and beautiful city with a population of about 50,000 people. Ars is surprised by the large number and says, 50,000 equals 50 times my hometown of Lombridge. Ritz smiles and tells him they are now in the capital of the Canary region and that Castle is the headquarters of the Bress family, the ruling family of the area. It's an incredibly stunning castle. But more importantly, the people here are wealthy and possess a lot of money, which is what we want to provide for our country, Lombridge, someday. Then Ritz looks at him and says he's sure they will find an excellent candidate with so many people to choose from. Ars begins his search and evaluation using his left eye while scanning left and right, observing the strength of the people. After more than an hour, Ars starts to feel discouraged as he hasn't found a promising person. They sit by the fountain, and Ars begins to talk about statistics, which consist of numerical values and rank efficiency. It seems their actual talent is the result of combining the two. Even if their statistics are high, it doesn't mean much without the appropriate efficiency. Ritz advises him not to rush, saying there's still plenty of time ahead. Ars smiles at him and says, "All right then, patience is the key to relief." The scene shifts as they continue down the road, and Ars stops on this street to find something strange. These people are from the poorer part of town, so Ars feels very sad for them. However, Ritz tells him not to be saddened, explaining that this is the way of the world. Some are rich, some are poor, some are strong, and some are weak. Not everyone can be wealthy, nor can everyone be poor. Ars then becomes very happy to see all this delicious food and calls out to a merchant who has a lot of dragon eggs. He asks if he wants a dragon as a pet because these eggs are real and imported from the northern continent. Ars gets very excited and imagines himself flying on a dragon. So he tells the merchant to give him 3 and tries to take out the 3 silver coins from his bag. Suddenly, Ritz's servant burst out in anger, drawing his sword on the merchant. He says, "Do you realize what you're doing by trying to cheat this boy?" Ars tries to stop his servant, but he pays no attention and continues confronting the cheating merchant. The servant tells the merchant that trade with the northern continent was halted last year, and smuggling is the only way to import goods. He also explains that dragon eggs won't hatch unless kept at high temperatures, with darker and larger spots than what's seen in reference books. Furthermore, it's impossible for an ordinary seller to possess such a large quantity of rare dragon eggs. These are giant lizard eggs from the Ansel region. The merchant tries to refute his claims, but Ritz ignores him and demands his silence, warning him that the price of humiliating Ars Sama is death. This terrifies the merchant and Ars intervenes, pulling his servant by his cloak and informing the merchant that he won't purchase anything. He pleads with the merchant not to harm him, admitting that it was his mistake due to ignorance. Ritz quickly bows to his master, apologizing and asking for forgiveness, stating that he has lost his senses and is ready to accept any punishment. Ars thanks Ritz sincerely for saving him, while internally wondering if Ritz will always act this way whenever deceived, encouraging himself to be more diligent in studying afterward. They continue sitting by the fountain, having their meal together, and Ars eagerly goes to fetch some delicious sweets. However, a bag of money he had with him suddenly spills out, attracting the attention of a thief who quickly snatches it and runs away.